Hello everyone, my name is Felipe. I work for ABN. We have a few teams. And today I would like to present for you guys a way of doing. It's not like, okay, let's change the way that you guys are already doing the UI and so on. But it's a proposal about a problem that I had in the past. I said, I want to fix the problem. And basically the problem was, okay, we have theming, so theming extensions and JSON. So I write down regarding this. Today, basically, I see most of the time things work like this. You have the UI, work quite fine. It's the way that we expected, but the backend that we say, like our code, the way that we are working, is more or less something like this. Maybe some guys here is very good, so it's not like this. I do understand. But for me and my problem that I had at the time was exactly like this. So I had a lot of views, more about 30 views, not that much, but I have this problem. And then one day the guy came to me and said, okay, let's change the theme. Let's update and make it a new way. And I said, yes, I have a problem. And for this, I started to look for some solutions. So there's no bulletproof, of course. There's no way to do this in just one way and fix everything. But I need a solution for my problem. And one of my problems that I have, I need to make it easier. Like, I'm really lazy. I don't like to go deep in and do amazing stuff. So I go to be more the easiest way. So I started doing questions. So can I use extension to improve my layout? Because I was kind of head-centered at the beginning. I said, extension, I don't like it that much. But let's dig into and try to see how did I fix this problem, at least for my problem that I had at that time. So one of my questions that I answered was, okay, I need a central point of layout. Because my app wasn't that big, but in a way that I had a lot of place to update, I said, why don't use something that have a central points that I could update and so on. So and my problem I had to figure out, like I figured out as a JSON. I want a JSON because you are multi-platform, not only for an iOS, but you have an Android team working. So you need to talk each other and it's in a way that was normal for both platforms. So I said, okay, maybe JSON wouldn't work. I want a common configuration of my objects because I have I need to set like the configurations to all my UI view objects, UI label options, and so on and so on and so on. So I need a common way, a common pattern that I could set to all these guys. So one of my questions that I want to fix should be easy to add a new configuration, of course, because I had a problem actually adding a new configuration. So I needed to have a new way to do this in an easy way, because maybe in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, 1 year, the guy from the business say, hey, when I have a wholly new way of doing, let's do this in a new way. I had to do this in an easy way because I already had a problem. And maybe no need to call any function. Could be in one solution, for extension, I'm saying something, I will go to there. Could be a way. Let's see how can I manage this or could I figure it out. Basically, this is what they want. Because when people regarding the UI and so on, they see your app, everything is fine, it's beautiful and so on, they think, hey, it's just change the color, it's just change the font, it's just say the size. Should be easy, this, right? Yeah, it's not that easy. You have a lot of configurations, a lot of things that you need to go to. So, but my goal was this. So I had to be easy in this way. I come in a solution that looks like more about this. Looks like it's not, but yes. So I need a JSON. I need to set my configuration. And of course, it's like today we need to set the colors and so on specific to that object. Need to be more generic in a way. So I want to do this in the storyboard or Xib, Nib, and so on. So we still need to have one step. But basically, it's 3 steps, easy 3 steps that we can follow and apply and change our theme. So there's no other way to show you guys how I fix my problem. Then just go there and do it. So I will change a little here. This is for my presentation, of course. And I came up from a very good tip from a friend of mine. We have the CocoaHeads app. So it's open source, so everyone can see and figure out. I will just run today. I did some small configuration. I have app thing here. Let's see how it looks today and how I will achieve what I'm proposing to. OK, this is not regarding myself, but OK, you have a table view, you have some things. So when it's regarding the theme idea, when I was talking with my UX and designer and so on, they have a different way of see what we see. Because for us, it's basically the code is the object that we set a color, it's very specific. But then they created, like in Zeppelin these days, and say, hey, I have a pattern for this. My labels, whole app, most of the app, should be, if title should have this configuration, if button should have this configuration, and so on. So like you have positive button, negative button, and so on. That was the talk that I had with my UX at the time and my designer. So I had a pattern at the time. And here in this app itself, I saw that kind of pattern. If you see, at least for this, because we cannot go that deep, I see some pattern. So looks like maybe this is a title, I subtitle and a description, I have the date and month and so on. OK, let's try apply something like this. For this, I kind of create a library, but it's not the library itself, because it's more a concept of what I do, the way that I do. And the concept basically is a proxy. That's why I tried. It's a pattern that I tried to apply. I should have a layer between my code itself and my configuration. I tried to do this in the easiest way that it could be possible. I did here, I just added a pod file, so I call it a Swift JSON tamer. I will not do this here because just installing you guys, I'm pretty sure that you guys know how to do this. So let's start it. So basically one thing that I had that I showed you before was I need to have a JSON file. And that JSON file should have a description about my theme. So to have some kind of pattern. So it's definitely the first thing that I should create it. I tried just an easy thing, blah, let empty file. I will call this default theme. OK, here we go. To this default theme, I do need to follow some small pattern, because otherwise, how can I could achieve and have some configuration? I have some here. Yeah, it had to be easy. Of course, it will not be easy for you guys in that way. I just need to name this guy a little different. 2 year, good. Yeah, this is fine. So what I follow is this pattern. So I have a definite style. So this definite style basically is my whole structure regarding all the goals in this configuration. And the basic thing that I should have for each thing that I'm applying there, I need to have the text size. Most of the thing that I folded for labels. So I have a text style most of the time. A text size, I have a text styles, and image style. So I always need to follow this pattern at least at a minimum. I can create anything that I want. If I want to, OK, I want to call this button, and this button, I want to have any configuration here. You can do by yourself. And here I have a value. I can do this, and I will show how that I call this. I will not use this, of course. Yeah, it is not. Fine. Thank you, man. So this is basic structure that I should have for my pattern. But if you start looking here, I try to follow some pattern regarding my thing that I wanted here. So I have a title. Let's call it a title here. I have a title font. I have a subtitle font, and then so on, title color, subtitle color, and so on. So let's try to name this in my extension in a way that maybe all my UI labels could see. I had another solution for this, and a way of doing. I created a template, so it would be easier for me to add this. And for now, you want to try just for labels. I will name this as label. The name it here is not so. I needed to find something, of course, some extension, so needs to kind of follow some pattern. And I create an enum, because in this extension itself, I need to specify, of course, for the title type, which color I should assume. So I create some kind of enum to be easy to have it switch, and so name this. Let's maybe call this label, of course. And I will save here, because later I'm going to do it another way. Let's see. OK, this is more or less was the solution that I went into. So as something that I wanted to maybe be easier to set in a storyboard or even set it programmatically. Unfortunately, as extension, maybe some of you guys know or not know, there's no way to have a variable there that I can set a value to that variable. And one of the ways that we can do this, we can achieve this, is using the old way from Objective-C, is associate objects that basically in a runtime you're going to create some value, can save some values to that variable. So that's one of the ways that I found it to make this. I need to have like a variable that holds the reference to my type, of course. Basically, the trick is happening here. I call it this apply UI appearance so that I can set a theme. I can pass a theme to this because I could change. Remember that I said I want to change this later. I can say, no, I don't want to have this more than my view. Just avoid this. But of course, I can have some default implementations here. I'll not go dig into this, but I'm going to show you later. And here is basically the way that I should do. Basically, I have a switch, and I should apply some theme or color configuration and so on. But in order to function this, you need to think about the hierarchy of my view when I loaded this, because I have my view controller, my table view controller, and I go deep to the subviews and so on, so on, so on. So I need to maybe loop through these guys. And one is the way that I found it. So I'm not digging into, I'm a lazy guy, definitely. I have to shade you guys that I did this small trick to this. I had to. Let's see who they have here. Okay. This and this guy. I'm not sure. Remember that I was going to this? Sorry. Why not just go this? Because I have to. Oh, okay. Let's go now to the concept of what I have. So I have my table view. I have my cells, and each thing there, my label says it has that type. And I should name it for that. And for that, I created an enum, the way that I just showed you. So I name it as a title, subtitle, description, date number, a date month. And this should be generic, of course, should be for label. You don't know nothing about that view itself. And here I type it to that thing, and I said, OK, if my type is title, I should have a text color. I not specify to that cell itself. And I go there, and I get my type color. So I have that font. I should get my type font. And so on, so on. So for each type that I have, I just typed that in order to apply for everywhere. How did I did this? If I go to my zip file, it still have this color. And just go here. OK. I go to my title. It's a label, of course. So let's see if it's working. I hope so. Yes, I have an identifier. The identifier, unfortunately for the storyboard, there is no easy way to name this short way. So I prefer to maintain this that maybe a more descriptive way than just a short way that's shown here. But I set here a type. There is a title. So I not set any color here. I have a type that is subtitle and so on. For each type, I set a configuration. So I just turn around a little. It's not my code there. The code is still there. We're going to go deep there. But I just changed just a little way of thinking about this, guys. And how do I have all the configuration. But if you think a little higher, I need to register all this kind of stuff. Because remember that we saw that, I want to be easy. So when I want to change or to apply or do anything like this, I need to be easy. I created for my Y view controller the same way. But the difference that I'm just registering my theme. The reason that I'm doing this, because usually the way that people fix this these days, they create an observer, and you need to register all your class to that observer. So when you have a change, you just notify that observer and go on and go on. So I said, can be this way. Of course, I could register every class that I have. But I just thought, OK, I see this in a way that looks like more as a table view for me. Like it's a table, it's just an array of data that I should register. Always take care, weak memory, of course. We don't want to have a strong reference. Imagine like my team working the reference for this, but I could do this way. This is the first step that I have, because I need to register my view controllers. After this, I go looping into this, all my view objects, because in the hierarchy, and I will try to follow and see, hey, do you have anything to apply theme? So if you have, OK, let's apply. That's why you have this guy here. We need a little more configuration, of course. I need to come to my view controller itself. I have this, just an easy way of doing this. View will appear. Would probably be one of the best way of doing this. I should apply my UI appearance. If you guys did look at it and pay attention somewhere, we could do this, override it, because, of course, I'm still on Y view controller, and I could apply my Y theme. But by the hierarchy, the way that we apply themes, sometimes you have problem. So it's just a way of doing. So you can definitely select another way. I prefer to do it here because I have more sure about when is the time that I should apply my theme. But basically, I should do like this. So far, I didn't change anything in my code. My cell is still there. I didn't change any configuration that's there. And we should apply this theme. Well, most of the parts we had been done here. So look, sorry, is almost there. So basically, let's try. Let's see. Like I didn't change anything in my code. We see that's like this. I don't know if that's big enough. Let's try to run and see how you are applying this theme. I hope it works. Whoa. Yeah, so I have something changed. Like all my views, anything that has configuration, I already changed it. So I do follow my 3 steps that I want. And I have a JSON, I have extension, and I have a type that I want to apply to that thing. So I just changed it. We still have these little tricks that sometimes happen, of course, because I have a hierarchy, I have a life cycle, I have a cycle of applying my themes. If you go to my cell itself, I don't have anything here in my cell. I still have the colors that's being applied here that I saw, okay, the green color, and so on, small logo, text color. These 2 guys, they apply after my view is loaded. That's one of the reasons that we don't see this guy being configured. I will just show that when you start to go deep in, we need to take care, of course, it's not a magic that to go and apply to everything. We still need to do a little thing. It wasn't things that already was ready, wasn't possible. But now, yeah, you see, we changed the color for the guy. And said, wow, I changed the color. It was kind of easy. So I have everything configured for everything. Well, it's a thing. I read it. But still, I said, well, OK, your problem was I needed to switch theme. So why you didn't go to the table with cell and so on? One of the things that if you follow this kind of pattern, all the screen that I had from that moment on, I don't need to care more about like the color specifically, the font specifically, the size specifically. Because the designer, they just came for me with a pattern. They say, hey, for this is a label that should be the title label. So just go there, set the title as a title, and done. So I don't need to know more about that thing itself. And if I needed to do something, I need to change something regarding that, I know what I can do. I just go here. So I have the title fonts that I said, OK, should be the type normal. I get in these fonts that I already registered here. And the size should be medium. OK, it's a thing. But I could even change here. So I don't know. I don't just see it. And I could change for my whole app. Just one place. I'm not changing again. And should change for everything. It definitely looks ugly. It's not that it wants. But you have just a common place and you have a common pattern. As much as big can be your app, doesn't matter. We will never go really deep and go beyond like, I don't know, 100%, 100 configurations. I didn't find so far, so it wasn't my scenario, but it can happen for you. But let's imagine that, OK, I want to switch themes. So it didn't show yet. That's how easy it could be. Let's change themes. So you can do this here live. So we're going to create a button that's called switch theme, because this was one of the proposals. I already created a IB action there, so I can easily see. One of the things that you do need to have at least one default theme. So when I'm using this, I didn't register my theme because it's a singleton. Makes sense to be a singleton because you have the UI configuration for the whole app, so it's not a problem at all. But I already created some IB action in order to be easy to do. It's just a way of doing this. Remember that we register all our table views or view controllers there. So supposedly, I should not need to notify or this anything new with this. So well, let's open. Let's see if I have a new theme I already added. And they show this new theme that I changed it. Let's see. We are back to normal. OK, I have this button. Yes, so it works, well, finally. That's nice. I did this today, like 20 minutes before here. So it's really nice that it's working. But this is the way that we're supposed to work. So you should not need to notify anything. You should not need to recycle or do anything, because I already have reference to that, guys. So it should be easy in a way that I just changed it. And how I did this, it's not a difficult thing. It's just the same pattern. I just followed the same pattern. The thing that I just added a large here, and I said it needs to be large. I changed my whole configuration regarding this. and I have the thing being applied. So it's this way I fixed the problem that I had at the time, that we kind of changed a little, multiple times, these configurations, but I had a central point of doing this. But this did not went away my power of changing my configurations specifically. Like if I wanted by some way, okay, I really wanted to change my configuration to this view, I want to override these configurations, of course, you should be in the power to do this. So let's say this is meetup cell. Okay, if you, I'm gonna show here for you guys. I always have this guy that say, okay, let's look for someone that's to the end that's apply for a protocol that's custom method, custom theme, and let's try to override this. So it should be possible, and this is the way that I found it to this. So if I want here, like for example, to have the mount label, I could easily do it like this. And I don't know, color oh no, I need to import, sorry. This is already imported here. It not work as expected. Of course it's not working because it's live presentations never work at it. That never works, so let's go. Okay, guys, go away. Please warn me, Xcode, thank you. So this is working the way that's supposed to be. And here we are. So now it's okay. Okay, head mount label, color, test color, I don't know. So in this way, I could easily override any configuration that I had, still use my theme or anything that I want, and this should override it. So this is one of the ways, this is one of the solutions that I found for the problem that I had at the time. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward. It's not like I didn't cheat it so far. It's exactly this. I'm not setting any configuration, I'm not set any else place. You guys can look at it. I have a sample project and so on. So it's exactly like this, the way that I'm doing to this one. So I just need to get back here. Yes, where I can go from here. Like I said at the beginning, it's not like a bulletproof thing that's going to change all your life. You're still discussing the architecture or anything else that no one agrees with the way that you do it. This is just a way of fix a problem that I had. I had, on my mind, it needs to be simple. So JSON files to see all your settings, of course, because for us, makes sense. We could maybe have these two environments for iOS and Android and so on. We could apply for both follow the same pattern. When we need to change, you have like the CI work that was all at once. I could even unit testing. You guys know that's not go nicely in this way, but still would be possible to make sure that I didn't change anything. I use it separated by extension. Makes sense because basically it's all my views. But if you do then a right organization, the way that you organize your project, you have one central point. So if you have a new guy that comes to your project, or even you know where to look at anything that's regarding that. If something is not overridden, of course, you go to yourself. Type UI components, yes, the way of typing, maybe sometimes, unfortunately, we cannot go better in a way that, okay, I don't want a string, I want another way. Unfortunately, we cannot go better than this because it's runtime variable I need to be like a string, and the storyboard has their limitations, so had to be in this way, and share between platforms is something that I already said. This is the most of the thing that I did. That's the problem that I had. It was exactly this way that I fixed it. Was when you start going deep, you need to loop it through some views. Sometimes you find some problems like, okay, it's a table view. I don't want to loop it through everything. Remember that it is extension. So you can go to direct to your label, apply UI appearance, and we apply to that label only. So you don't need to go to everything and loop everything. This is just one way of doing. And this basically is just a way that I found it to fix my problem. And yes, this is basically the way that I found it. And yeah, I had to have a Robocop. This is an old style. And yes, pretty much of this. Thank you for being here. Any question? No, I'm kidding. If any question, could go away. I don't know.
But what happens with the accessibility font sizes? Like, is there any support for dynamic type?
You mean for the accessibility thing?
It's like when a user sets like a different font size to the setting.
Okay, no, this should not change because actually the only thing that you are setting is setting configuration from that label to the object itself. So if the user changes the font size, everything will be applied, it will not change because we are not tweaking, we're not doing anything. Yes, it's not changing. Yeah, anything else?
You use all the types in your JSON you use as a string. Is there a way, I can think of a way, but is there a way to use it as an enum inside your code? That you use a pre-script to generate an enum from JSON?
Yes, you have a way, and unfortunately it's not that friendly that the way it's supposed to be. Like at one of the ways that some libraries do these days, like at IML, I don't remember, that we generate a code from that. So this would be possible. So we generate a code from that. We do this through one library that we use at the ABN. We have like a file is XML that we have a lot of configuration, and from that we generate a Swift file. This is one of the things. The only reason that I didn't add this to the library itself is to be more open, because the idea is to show more a concept and a way of doing, so you'll be more flexible. Because when it's related to UI, you know, that's like I use an extension you can use in your class, you can use in any other way. So I just did it this way to show the concept, but not an easy way. Unfortunately, you need to generate this dynamic because, yeah, there's no way to do this these days, unfortunately, for Swift. Anything else? Thank you, guys.